All right, here we are. Welcome everyone to our Good of the Whole Global Heart Resonance Call. And we meet every Monday. We've met through Love Lives Here 40 Days of Reconnection. So we want to thank everyone for being present for that experience. And we hold that experience of reconnection still in our hearts as we move forward. But one of the things that we offer through Good of the Whole is coming in and diving into this experience of the unified field. We call it gathering at the Oasis, where we come together, we receive and are nurtured from our focus on the field itself. So beautiful circles out there all over the world. They're incredible. I just came from one with 800 women. It was just amazing. And here the focus is really deeply listening to the field. And as stewards of Good of the Whole, we're cultivating an ethos of wholeness. So this conscious connection with self, each other, the earth, and the sacred within all life, that still continues as we are whole beings contributing to and in service of a greater whole. And we really feel that on this call, this focus. And today, our residence reflection is contentedly creative. So we'll be speaking more about that. With the way we open this call is inviting people to put themselves on mute. I'm Shelley Darling, and I'm here with Dinama Machado today, who's holding space, and some incredible other resonance stewards and other people learning about this call. So I'm happy to be with you all here today. And we'll start with some resonance with Dinama. You can take yourself off mute, and welcome everyone.
Breathing consciously, contentedly, taking in the life force and the water contained therein in the breath. Filling our lungs with this life, this love, and feeling it reaching into each nucleus of every cell of our body vehicle. Stillness, feeling the buoyancy of the collective field swaying us like algae in the ocean, or leaves in the wind, moving us in unity. Feel the energy pulsing, bubbling, expanding our being. And in this place, listening in the stillness of contentment, of love, our natural state. And so it is.
So I think the key word is just feeling into this space. I love that image of the wind moving the branches of the trees, and all you could just see all the leaves, and we are that. I love that image. It's so really what this column is about. really just feeling into that experience. So before I share more into the theme today, for those that are new or for those that are listening, number one, if you're on the cell phone, if you download the Zoom app, you can be a part of the visual experience. As well, if you're on a phone, on the computer, you can click up on the right-hand corner and see the gallery view. So you'll get to see everyone. And we invite that if that's what you feel. Sometimes it's a little more challenging, but also there's something very magnificent about seeing this tapestry of love as it gets shared. So just a couple of guide rules, or guidelines, I'd like to say, for this call. So this call is a participatory call, and it's a practice. And as we're breathing in and we're feeling that tempest of love emerging and rising, we open the field for people to share. And the way that works is simply to say your name. For those who can't see or on the phone, it makes it much easier. So say your name and speak from your heart, really bottom lining the story and speaking from the experience of essence. So sharing the seeds of what's moving through you in present time, and that's really the key, in presence and in present time. We're totally consciously listening as a collective for what's evolving and emerging and rising in the field. So we're following this thread. Imagine it as a thread that's weaving this tapestry, your voice. And we're following that and limiting your contribution to 1 to 2 minutes. You can speak more than once, but just trusting that flow or that impulse as it comes through you. Acknowledging when you're complete. And finally, the key piece to this call is the pause. Allowing there to be a pause in between the shares to move from that knowing of when it's your turn, and allowing people to unmute themselves when they're on the phone or on the computer so that they can share as well. It's as simple as that. And with that, this morning, our theme or our resonance reflection is contentedly creative. And as Aristotle said, happiness is self-contentedness. And on this call, what has emerged is really as a collective. It's that sense of connection and that contentment as we're looking at this incredible baby's beautiful eyes looking into the field. That sense of being, that possibly what if contentment is actually found from a different place than we've been so told as a culture. That it isn't necessarily from having more, from getting more, but that it's found in not just accumulation, but it's in giving more. And then maybe it even isn't just about looking for something, that it's a state of being. It's a state of deep appreciation and experience that feeds our soul. That really has to do with slowing down and being present and fully enjoying the interconnection and love that we are as a whole being. So with that, today's is just simply really opening to that joy of connection, to that great oasis of love, and embracing this experience of self-contentedness. What does that mean? And does it have to do with just a siesta? I fulfilled something. But that it's actually an onward movement of innate creation moving through us. So with that, we always have a virtual talking crystal and talking stick, or a virtual feather, whatever you feel, and we pass it. So with that, I'm complete and open this field to the arising voice of love as it happens within and as us.
Good morning, everyone. This is June. And I've been thinking since earlier this morning about what contentment means to me. And does that mean everything is going really well in the moment, or is it just a place I can find while everything else is going on? And to the best of my ability to talk about it right now, it's really about my being in resonance with things at the same time that I'm in the midst of whatever it is that's going on. And I can be content with how I am dealing with it, what I'm feeling, and how I'm interacting with it, even if I'm not, quote, happy or everything's great. Learning that being content with what is depends so much on what it is that I'm feeling inside and how I'm being with everything else. And so, again, thinking about how I can use that place no matter what else is going on, that if I have a sense of touch or a sense of love or an ability to see beauty in whatever it is that's going on around me, then I can learn how to be in this sense of contentment and cherish that both goes together. Everything else crazy not in the world, and it feels good to know that contentment doesn't for me everything is great, because it's seldom that everything is great in my world. But contentment is that I'm in resonance with what is going on, and that of feeling that contented awareness of being with people, things, feelings, whatever it is. So I'm learning every minute, listening to everyone, and just really deep inside and asking what that word means. So I'm complete. Thank you. Actually, it's me again. I just wanted to add a piece about the creativity. Contentment and creativity. And contentment is an incredible force for creativity. It opens me up. It opens up all the boundaries and the edges, and I can color out the line. I can come up with whole new ways to deal with what's going on around me, or my own writing or my own ways of interacting with people from that place. So I see creativity and contentment as a powerful pair of words and beingness that go together. And I'm complete.
This is Henry. I'm non-visual today, so I'm a little under the. So contentment. This is a heart contentment circle. We're creating. We're entering into that space of being. So for me, contentment is very connected with being. We can't, unless we're in the present moment, we can't know contentment. Or at least that's my sense. And the last to say for the moment is the word content. So we're opening to the content of what's present. And we're opening to, I think it was Emerson, as other Emerson Rose said, that what lies before us and what lies behind us is in small measure to what lies within us. So again, we're coming to that place of our content, to the place of greater truth and in each of us. And that Dina's grandson kind of represents, he's in such a space of beautiful contentment, a great teacher of that. And so I feel content.
This is Shelley. For me, I'm having this experience looking out the window and seeing this, beautiful waters reflecting off the pool and the mountains in the far distance, and I see this big pine trees, and a lot of that experience is about like being in the inner awe and wonder of life itself, to be in that appreciation. It feels like there's this connecting thread to how I feel when I'm embracing all that is. And contentment, I feel like calmness isn't like still, it's moving. Because in the moment, that prop could change, and I could be looking out at a war scene, or I could be looking out at a protest, or I could be looking out at so many different things, and would I still be content? And I think that's why I'm loving these words being put together, contentedly creative, because that creation, that force of nature is constantly moving, it's constantly changing. And I feel like that sense of contentment has to do with my capacity to be able to move with that change of scene, and can I stay like content within myself when that scene changes? Because on our last call, someone was mentioning about, the children being held in, mothers being deported without their children. And can I be content if I were to be content, would I not move and create some action or be active, take an active role in that? And I feel like it's a really interesting combination of conscious, this expansion of consciousness when we're looking at those two words together. Because I think in the past, contentment has meant that I'm at the fulcrum of my experience, and now I can relax. And now I'm content. And I think the universe is asking us to expand this experience and understanding of what contentment actually is. It means that I'm in action of that movement, in collaboration or cooperation with that movement that's happening. And so I hold that. So then it becomes a practice. So just passing that through, and I am content, and pass the virtual talking stick.
This is Orna, and I'm having a bit of a play on words going on. And to follow on what Shelley was saying about being contented, and I was an avatar for international courses in Orlando for many years. And one of the first statements that we work with is, I am happy to be me. And one of the things that gets in the way of genuinely being happy is being contented. That often comes up first is, well, I'm content to be me. I'm okay with it. Everything's, yeah. And it's like a making do kind of sensation to it. And so it's just interesting, the connotations that we hold to content. But it was something that Henry had said that got me the content, contentedly create, for me to feel creative and bringing content into it. Like there's something in that for me. And in my meditation just before I came on the call, I had been really working with this the esoteric teachings of ancient religion, quantum physics, biophysics, and how those things came together, and what I was being asked to create of the science and ancient teachings into something that's a more symbiotic unfolding of this esoteric knowing. And it's something that I can feel, and I was shown how to do it, and at the same time it's not something that can be spoken. So I'm looking at now, how do I bring that content into being, into access? So that for my contemplation of contentedly having contented creativity. And I'm complete.
Kate wants to grab that talking feather for a moment, and just on the heels of that, yeah, that really filled me too when Henry brought, and he does that a lot. He'll bring the root of the word to just a deeper place in you. And as we're speaking about just falling into the moment, falling into content with the moment, wherever that moment, that flow takes you. I guess I feel like I'm with some people that have the best ability to verbally express this tapping into the flow, and I'm learning to finesse my ability to express what it's like for me to tap into the flow. That was the only point I wanted to make, and just that thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up and carrying your sacred wisdom and bringing us to this new exploration almost of contentedness. I find that the more I gather with deeper into whatever moment it is, and at this moment I feel like I am usual, but that hopefully I expressed something worth hearing. And I just felt compelled when the content was brought out in Contented. Wow, what is it I bring to the moment? And, that, and then it's beautiful sister speaks that symbiosis of where the faces of places beyond words meets words, and you all greet that space so beautifully and gracefully, and I'm very grateful for that and honored to be in circle. And Dr. Feather, thank you for listening.
When I was a kid, Cloverland Dairy had a slogan on all of their milk bottles. It said, our milk is from contented cows. And their dairy competitor came out with another slogan on their bottle. It said, our milk is not from contented cows. They are anxious to do better. Yeah, would have to get a call right now, but I'll hold that for a bit. Let's see if I can mute this. So my area of contentment is a blissful calm. Now, blissful means enjoyable, full of bliss, and it means it's full of excitement. My idea of contentment would be having every day full of chronic enthusiasm. The two most important words I say for success are chronic enthusiasm. It's not sitting back and just being totally relaxed. You're kind of in a stupor. If you think, many people think of contentment as kind of being in a stupor, and in fact, we all are in a stupor. We are sort of still asleep, and the problem is there are people around the world who want to kill us. People on the other side of the world who think that they don't like religion, that we're whatever. And there are people even in our own country who have the idea that I'm the only way and the right way, and that's the way many of us feel. So the idea of, I think, of love has to do with a number of things, being happy, but it's an active role. It's not a passive role. And the idea of thank you, Henry. Yes, content. What we need if we're going to be successful is we got to educate ourselves with the appropriate tools, the appropriate content. We're born without any knowledge. We're born pretty stupid. We're born with a collection of those. We're born with those addictions that worked for our ancestors for 3.5 billion years when we had to compete all the time for limited resources. So we're all born with the meme, as Marx likes the idea of meme. I think it's a wonderful word. What it is that people tend to kind of have their assumptions are all a dream that most people have today is what's good for me, my family, and my tribe. And unfortunately, that usually means getting more money, more physical things, and screwing people who are not in part of my tribe. You know, that kind of love, tribal love, in our politics and everything else, good for me and my side, my country. That's the way we're addicted to think, unfortunately, and we need to have more content. We need to educate ourselves in the newer skills. And you know, I've come to a lot of meetings, and most of the meetings are mostly women. There be a few token males. You might have asked myself, why is this? And I think there's a good explanation for that. You know, we're different. It's quite obvious we're much more alike than we are similar, than we are different. You know, we have the same number of arms, legs. You know, we have basically the same physique. We have equal brains, I would say. We have interest in love. We have interest in doing things. But the area of difference is that males, you know, are given with, we make 100, the actual 1,500 sperm every second. Do you realize that 1,500 sperm? There must be a reason for that. And women make 1 egg a month. So women seem to be much more involved with taking care of people, and the other seem to be taken, and males seem to be more procreating and protecting our progeny, to have muscles and so on. So what I observe is that women usually have a lot of love, which is wonderful, and men tend to have more aggression. And unfortunately, men throughout history have used their aggression to suppress women. And I think that's one of the big issues today. So hopefully meetings like this, women will get their power. Women will be able to balance the amount of unconditional love with males' aggression. And I think that's one of the purpose for me of action as a male, rather than simply, you know, like Dynama and, you know, for example, grandchild, and it's a one expression of love. But the real issue is people around the world are trying to kill us. Don't we realize that? We're sitting back and saying, let's be content, instead of saying, what can we really do to make a difference? And that's what I find is missing here, and missing with most of the talks that I attend, and many of them where I hear women are expressing their love, but they're not, you haven't come up with something. We need your help. I'm really making this plea to you. We need your help to help us to realize that unconditional is more important. You've got to reclaim your power. You've allowed it to be taken away from you for so many years, and I'm seeing a great change going on right now. But you got more. You got to do more than just sit back and show us. You know, looking at babies is wonderful. I mean, we all enjoy that, but we have to do more to start changing the way of content. We need to educate ourselves, and I don't think we're doing that. Most of the education we're doing is how to make more money. You know, where do you go to take a course on how to love more? You can take a course on how to make more money in every place, and how to get richer and so on. That's what, and even the people that are saying we're doing good things are doing it to make money. You know, that's the issue. One of the ones is that you come together and there's no fee. People come and you enjoy, and you really have a relationship. So I pardon expressing my enthusiasm a little too much now. I was waiting for Shelley to come in and say you're speaking to, but I realize been on their mind, and I won't do that. I'm just going to stop at this point. I've got a little bit of a sore throat anyway, so maybe I've talked too much already. Thank you for allowing me to share.
So let's take a big breath with that. And just what was pulling that thread forward, because that's what we're doing. We're weaving this tapestry of really this voice of love that's expressing itself, and it's like different rays. You know, we see the beautiful sun. I look at I see this beautiful father-son, and when it hits a prism, it creates rays, and I feel like each one of us are those rays. And this call, like what was coming to me was this feeling and remembrance of being part of Pachamama Alliance, which is blessed unrest, you know, where that gets spoken to. I'm just going to mute you. So just invite everyone to mute themselves unless you're speaking. So just breathing with that, and that, Kate, I'm muting you for 1 second while I'm just continuing. So on this call, we're just really opening. This is a restorative practice of love. And what I'm loving today about this call is, where we've put together these two words, contentedly creative, just pulling that weft thread back through, right? So in a loom, it's, you have all these weft threads that are holding the field in effect. And then we have the warp shuttle that runs through, and where each one of us is that voice. And there is no right or wrong in this field when we come in. We are opening to that, in my feeling, in my experience, that content is the field itself, moving us into that next creative moment, right? Where, I have the pleasure of traveling so much, and I see all these different communities and get to be in all these different circles, and just coming from the co-creators convergence, expressing itself in one way, and then going to Spirit Weavers, which was 850 women expressing that in a sense, desire to feel that contentment, because contentment is what we make of it. It's the content of life expressing itself through us and as us. And just as that little baby that we've been seeing, for those of you who are on the phone, when Janama has her little grandson, and here and there he opens his eyes and we see his face, and sometimes he's disgruntled, right? So that blessed unrest that allows us to come into a deeper state of presence. It doesn't necessarily mean we come out of a state of contentment, but we carry that into the next moment. And that's really what we're doing here, is just weaving our threads, our voice, and focusing on the field, what is emerging as a collective consciousness. So this is a continuing practice of that. And the invitation here for those that are new is to really trust your voice, even if it's one word, that it's much more about the vibration on this call than it is necessarily about the words, or at least as equal. Everything is energy. And that energy is moving us, is shaking us up, is changing us, is asking us to come forward as something more. What's that effective? How do we make the most effective shift within ourselves that affects another? And pulling back that thread that was spoken into the field in the very beginning, which, actually I wasn't even on this call, so I'll bring it in, where when we just literally place our hand on another, maybe that person is our parent that's getting older, has some form of losing that state of consciousness. But just that simple connection of that hand, a contented hand, a hand of love on top of another, can make such a difference, because they can feel that. They can taste that. We're drinking this in from each other. So with that, I hand over the crystal talking stick and open it to the field. If you're on the phone, feel free to unmute yourself and taste that pause in between. So with that, I am content, and I pass the virtual talking stick.
Oh, hi. I'm so glad I got the time right almost, but I wanted to join today, having followed the 40 days and really noticed this amazing coming together of relationships in my life, which is very mysterious. I'm not sure how you do that, Shelley, but I definitely, I don't feel it's all me. And I'm working today on a project with with our friends in Vanuatu and working out how to creative work, which is using technology to service of these people in Ambai. And I'm just feeling that work and just a great sympathy about what it is that I'm doing and what it is that we're all doing, that all of it is just a puzzle. And I just feel such gratitude for these connections which go across the earth. I feel quite silent today because I've mostly been focusing on my computer, but I'm really, really glad. So glad. Thanks.
Kate feels compelled to pick up the talking feather a minute, especially on Don spoke. I was thinking, oh, you know, I know we're tapping into the field, but it's hard for me to like close my eyes and not kind of really focus in on, you know, that, wow, it was Henry that brought that root of the word up. Anyway, I apologize for my circle. I really shouldn't do that. It was but interestingly enough, when he said, where do you go to learn about love? I was thinking, well, we have this ambassador of love, I call her. We have Love Lives Here, this beautiful, all this work that has been done through our beautiful host. And then to have the testimony from our sister across the sea right after that, I thought, wow, it's interesting how there is a place to learn about these things. And you know, I guess I want to, because Don also has this, you know, loving me place, and the World Peace Academy is so much awesome stuff to learn. And Oriana has these calls where you can learn such awesome stuff. And, you know, so breaking, it seems like I have to break the rules of the guidelines set before us sometimes, just and I it's but I want to go where I understand and I hear that the frustration of this, and so I'm kind of at this place too, as we tap into this field that the unspoken place, as we energetically tap in place, and these vibes I throw out, is that enough for change? Is that the change we need to talk about now? Or is the frustration prevalent among many that I get the same guided meditation every week, I'm not getting further dialogue? But, you know, I'm happy to report that our octogenarian brother here, that I just, he is inspired so many words to pop out of me in the last couple of days. It's kind of interesting. I know Don's birthday was yesterday, and so it's just kind of, and it was on Father's Day, and so, you know, it's just a personal place where that really has inspired a lot of popping out of me. But anyway, as you know, I think the frustration of how we move forward, or maybe it's not frustration, it's the knowingness of how we move forward, of how this unseen, non-material and material world bring us further. And I feel like I'm in the presence of the voices who take us there. Just want to acknowledge that I think a lot of people are looking for okay, it's all beautiful and wonderful, and I'm trying to be as content and loving in the moment and at peace as I can. How do we bring it together? How do we bring these networks of grace together into, you know, something inspiring? And it's happening. It's just happening. And so I thank you for listening. I feel like I want to return the talking feather. I hope I said something. I know most times I don't. I just break guidelines. And so I'm returning that feather for the day, feeling, how to see, Oriana has said it before, where she says, I'm completely grateful, complete. And so I'm going to share that.
This is Henry. So I can feel the energy of our circle, that maybe it's through the meme or the word of contentment, or maybe the meme of a grandmother's love, or all the other parts that have been expressed, but I feel kind of a different quality, which I'm appreciating. So it seems to be identifying through these two words, that this is a heart contentment circle resonance, and this is heart contentment. It was also a creative circle that I'm experiencing, and I'm seeing the creativity emerge in each person, to be birthed as we each share from our unique genius. And also, it's kind of working to understand the words that is of potential realized. And I feel like for me, that those words, I'm not sure the full meaning or intention of that, but it feels like it's at some point in time that our potential is realized. And from what my experience is, especially here in the circle and other circles, is that our potential in each moment, here in each moment that we share, and we're coming from this space of contentment, we're coming from this space that embraces the creativity, the little child that is within us, that is seeking to emerge and to be honored to be. So I feel like, that potential, the only time we can realize our potential is in the present moment, because to a certain extent, this moment, when we create spaces for the purity of that potential in each of us to be realized in our sharings, that we're creating more spaces, as Dawn expressed, for the possibilities. So I feel
This is Dinama. Word creatively or creativity, contented creativeness, however we want to say it. We are co-creators. The visual of that is the third eye projecting like a projector. Every thought, every energy, every fear, all of that is what this reality, as we call it, this illusion of separation manifests. This is where sovereignty as a creator is my greatest focus. I know that as I show up in the field, so it manifests. And that's where the action is. It happens within and is our contented focus of manifesting. And this is the part, the illusion tricks us into believing it's out there. And yes, it is out there through that which is within us. This is beautifully expressed in a very scientific way through epigenetics, the understanding of our consciousness forming this cellular expression of our experience. Power beyond our conception. This is the invitation, I feel. The invitation is to live in knowing. There is contentment and powerfulness. I'm complete.
Ooh, lots of energy moving. So let's just take a pause here. Take a breath. You imagine the ocean, a wave. Each voice is like a wave showering us with so much to move forward with. And just taking a moment to feel grateful for these voices showing up as they can, as they will. Some of this energy will flow into a foundation, posts. Some of this energy will flow into a child, a grandchild. Some of this energy will flow into your next call. And let's just take a moment, and usually at the end of this global call, we take a minute and allow people who haven't had a chance to share to speak in, and the rest of us just hold that space, hold that energy, allow it to expand. So we're going to do that for the next minute. And then we always end with a beautiful rippling, and I'll share something new that I just learned over the past week. I'm going to unmute some.
Hi, this is my first call. This is Mary Hart. And I apologize for not getting here on time. And also, the camera on my iPhone doesn't work for Zoom. I don't know why. I want to appreciate everyone for the sharing that I received from you during the time that I was able to be on the call. I have a special relationship with Pachamama, my earth mama. I started planting beans and squash because I already planted my other 3 sisters. And a young man who was nearby came along and sharing with him how to put the seeds in my mouth before I plant so that the seed can get imprinted with my code, so that the seed, because my plant kin, who are my elders, are so smart that if I give them my code, then they can, as they are growing, produce what my physical body requires. That's how intelligent they are. I was sharing that with him along with some other information that I have inherited from many different wisdom sources on planting. So for me, food and nourishing our bodies with very healthy nourishment, so that when I am complete with the body can go back to Pachamama. Those are things that are very important to me. I really appreciate you, Shelley, for opening up space for people like who haven't spoken. Thank you. And blessings to all of you, and have a beautiful week.
Thank you, Mary. Oh my gosh. How our voices are so important. How we learn just from just that new thread, that new seed that's being planted. So with that and with all the most beautiful love, let's ripple all of this energy out to and around the planet, to the children who are being separated from their parents, to all over the world. We just send this love, and it does make a difference. And we do that through this choir of Yum. And I just learned from, I just learned from a grandmother that the heart chakra, the vibrational sound, is Yum. And we've been doing this for years. So it goes like this. Everyone can unmute yourself. For those of you that you're new, unmute yourself. And we're going to start this choir. We ripple it out, and we'll end this call. So thank you so much for showing up. We'll be here next Monday. Please share this out. It is a beautiful opportunity. So, Yum, 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 Yum.